Welcome back, folks, for a new episode of Lead. Now, a little apology before we start. The last episode about the T-58 heavy tank was total bullshit because all the stats are made up by me based on the stats of the T-57 and what I think the T-58 should be, but it's going to be way too broken because of the gun, the 155mm auto-loading 6-round drum. Yeah, that's way too broken. So the game files actually has the T-58, the model for the T-58 within the game. So that's why you saw all those pictures. But the developers actually has a big problem balancing this tank. So you will never see the T-58 because the T-57 does the same job, basically. So it's like the Storm Tiger. You'll never get to see the T-58. But at least you know a little bit more about that tank. So all good fun, right? April Fools. So today we'll talk about the VK4502B at tier 9. Now this tank is getting replaced by the Mäuschen coming up soon. So click on the link below to watch the leak video about the Mäuschen. But today we're going to talk about the aftermath of this tank and what's going to happen with it. So yeah, it's going to become a tier 7 premium German heavy tank. That's good because the historical armor values of this tank is more accurate at tier 7 than at tier 9. So historically, the VK4502B has only 80mm of armor all the way around instead of 200mm at the front and 100mm at the sides. That's currently in the game. So yeah, historically it's totally OP and imbalanced. So this tank is getting removed and becoming a tier 7 heavy tank with actual historically accurate armor. So that's good. Historically, it also used a 88mm L71, so that's also good. So yeah, it fits at tier 7. That's good. But there isn't a tier 7 heavy tank, so that's a new one. Alright. So a little history about the VK tank. So we'll start talking about the Tiger 1 because that's more appropriate. So Hitler posted a design competition between two contractors. One is the Henschel company and the other one is Porsche. Now both companies were trying to develop a heavy tank. So the Henschel company came up with the Tiger 1 and the Porsche company came up with the VK4501P, which is the Porsche Tiger. Yeah, you already know what happens. Porsche lost to Henschel, and that's why the Tiger 1 was the mass-produced tank than the Porsche Tiger, because the Porsche Tiger has a faulty transmission, electronic transmission, where the tank would actually get set on fire quite often. So yeah, Porsche lost. Alright. Now, then came the IS-2s, the T-3485s, and the ISU-122s, whereas the Tiger 1 was fighting like KV tanks and T-34s. Now they're fighting like IS-2s and, bigger stuff. So another contract was posted, and these two contractors were trying to have a better tank suited to replace the Tiger 1. So Henschel company came up with the Tiger 2, the Porsche company came up with the VK4502A, then B. So yeah, Porsche lost again. Notice me, Hitler senpai. But yeah, Porsche lost again, and the Tiger 2, the Cornish Tiger, the Royal Tiger, I'm fucking up German, came about. So yeah, never came out of the VK4502 tank. So yeah, Porsche was kind of disappointed, but later on, Porsche actually has an actual tank that Hitler was kind of interested in, which is the VK101P, which is the mouse. That's a mouse. So Porsche was like, "Yay! I'm finally getting to build my super weapon." And then the war ended. Yeah, then the war's over because Hitler lost. So, but that sucks. But yeah, basically, that's most of the tank Porsche worked on. So what happened from the Tiger 1 or Tiger Porsche, the Porsche Tiger, was that tank was converted into a tank destroyer, the Ferdinand or the Elephant. So yeah, most of the contributions from Porsche was the Elephant, I think. So I don't know that, but I think most of the tank Porsche contributed was the Porsche Tiger, which later became the Elephant. So yeah, most tanks used by the German army was the Tiger 1, the Tiger 2, the Panzerkampfwagen Mark 5, which is the Panther, then the Mark 4, which is the Panzer 4. So yeah, that sucks. Now let's look at this model of this tank. So originally, the VK4502 tank has the initial turret designed by Krupp. So this turret is rounded, so you can see here, it's a rounded turret, the stock turret on the Tiger 2. So it was originally designed by Krupp, same goes for the second turret on the Tiger 2, the flatter one. But people actually mistaken the first turret designed by Porsche. They called this turret the Porsche turret, and called the second turret the Henschel turret. But both turrets were actually designed by Krupp. So this tank used the initial turret. Now, there were problems with this turret. It has less armor than the flatter one, and there's a shot trap with the slope cheek parts of this tank. So yeah, it bounced shots into the top of the hull. So this tank was scrapped, as well as the orthodox placement of the transmission, as well as the placement of the turret. So yeah, the Nazis didn't like this design, and they chose the Tiger 2. So that's why you see the Tiger 2. You don't see this monstrosity. Now, people, well, a lot of people might not know this. So people might say, Sam, you cannot make fun of, Porsche for noticing me senpai Hitler. Now, a little fun fact before we continue with this video. Porsche, Ferdinand Porsche, was actually a member of the Nazi Party and a member of the SS. He also used slave labor. So, yeah, a little fun fact if you don't know that, but notice me, Hitler senpai. Always funny. And here are the in-game models for the VK4502B at Tier 7. So it's basically the same as the Tier 9 version, except for the turret, which is the stock turret on the Tiger 2. So quote-unquote the Porsche turret, even though it's designed by Krupp, as opposed to the flatter, more armor version, the Henschel turret, so quote-unquote. But yeah, it's mostly the same tank with 80 millimeters of armor all the way around. So you can see it's mostly the same tank. It also has a shot trap, so you can actually bounce a shot from the gun mantlet or from this wedge-shaped cheek into the top of the hull. So yeah, that's a shot trap. So alright, it's the same model of the tank. Now I took this picture from Technispector because they have not released the HD model, but it just most basically looked the same. Basically, hopefully. So yeah, it's a rear mounted turret on a weird chassis. So, alright. Now what is interesting when you look at the collision model is that, yeah, it has a shot trap. Yeah, it looks the same as other tanks, but I already mentioned this, but all track links are adding armor to the actual armor of the tank. So you can see the track links right here. This little box, whatever this is actually a track link. So you can see on the actual model. So basically, wargaming could actually buff a tank beyond its historically accurate armor values by just posting like a lot of track links onto the tank. So just stick a lot of track links and you can have the balanced armor without having the historically accurate armor values of the tank. So that's kind of an ingenious way of putting it. But yeah, this tank is basically the same as a Tier 9 version. So, alright. And here are the actual stats of the VK at Tier 7. So it's going to be a premium or event heavy tank. So if it's going to be purchased from the gift shop, that's going to cost you around between 5,000 to 6,000 gold. Now, TDs at Tier 7 cost about 6,000 to 7,000 gold, but the Panther M10, that costs 5,200 or something like that. So I guess this tank will cost about 5,700, somewhere around there. So alright. Hit points is 1,600, which is quite goddamn chunky at Tier 7. This is almost the same health as a Tier 8 heavy tank. That's crazy. That's insane amount of health at Tier 7. Engine power is 700, Weight about 65 tons, so power to weight ratio is not that good, only 10.77. So yeah, it's not going to be that mobile. Top speed is 35, reverse is 15, hull traverse is 26 degrees per second, which is not that good. Turret traverse is a little bit faster than the Tiger 1, but not much, only 21 degrees per second. Terrain resistance is 1.34 for hard, 1.6 for medium, and 2.4 almost for soft. This is bad. So this tank does get bogged down, and it's super slow. So yeah, this sucks. View range is 370, which is mediocre. Radio range is standard, above 700. Hull armor is 80 all the way around on the hull, 100mm at the front for the turret, and 80 for the sides and the rear. So mostly the same armor all the way around. Machine gun is not a weak spot, as you saw with the collision model, so meh. The gun is a 88mm L71, the same gun that's on the Tiger 1, but historically accurate on this tank, whereas for the Tiger 1 should have the 88mm L56. So yeah, alright. Damage is the same as the Tiger 1, 240 per shot. Penetration is 203, which is good for a tier 7 heavy tank. Rate of fire is not as good as the Tiger 1, 8.7 rounds per minute. Could go up to 9 rounds with the gun rammer and vents. DPM is alright, 2100 or so. Reloads every 7 seconds, 6.5-ish with the gun rammer. So alright. Accuracy is pretty good, 0.336. Aim time is quite long, but still alright, 2.78 seconds. Gun depression is only 6 degrees instead of 8 degrees on the Tiger 1. So this tank is mostly a slower, chunkier version of the Tiger 1, which is fair. And let's compare the VK4502B with the Tiger 1, because this tank doesn't have the armor like the Porsche Tiger, which has 200mm at the front, so it's closer to the Tiger 1. Health wise, the VK has 100 more health than the Tiger 1. But the Tiger 1 already have like crazy amount of health. Tigers are known for health, not for armor, within World of Tanks. So yeah, that's crazy amount of health. That's the same health as a fully upgraded Tiger 2 at tier 8. That's insane. Engine power is the same, but the VK weighs more by 8 tons, so the power to weight ratio is not as good as a Tiger 1. Hull traverse is the same, alright. Top speed is 5 kilometers less, but reverse is 3 kilometers faster. Alright. Turret traverse is better than the Tiger 1 by 2 degrees, so that's good. Terrain resistance is worse in all aspects than the soft terrain resistance. So I didn't know the Tiger 1, or soft and medium, so it has a poorer terrain resistance for hard terrain, but better for soft. Medium is better on the Tiger 1. So yeah, what? I'm still confused why the Tiger 1 has 2.78 for soft terrain resistance. That's crazy bad. Alright, view range is not as good as the Tiger 1, but 5 meters above average. Radio range is standard. Alright, above 700. Armor is 80mm at the front, 80 at the sides, 80 at the rear, whereas the Tiger 1 has 100mm at the front, 80 at the sides, 80 at the rear. So armor is mostly the same as the Tiger 1, mostly, but it doesn't get the mantlet as on the Tiger 1. It has a shot trap of a turret, so that is not as helpful, and it's rear mounted, so the gun depression is not that good. So oh well, whoopee. Alright, the gun is the same gun, same damage, same penetration. The DPM is not as good as on the Tiger 1, so 1 shot less. Alright, that's still fair. Accuracy is not as good. Aim time is also not as good, but this tank is a premium tank with full matchmaking, so I thought it was 8 degrees of gun depression on the Tiger 1. My mistake. It's only 7 degrees. So this tank is basically premium tank. That's very fair of a premium tank at tier 7 for the Germans. It's slow, it doesn't have armor, and the gun is decent, so it plays like a sniper tank. So yeah, as expected out of a German heavy tank. Fair, alright. And the final verdict for the VK4502B at tier 7 is that this tank is fair. It fits all the checkbox for a premium tank because it performs a little bit worse than the Tiger 1. But it could still hold its own because the gun is still decent and it has a lot of health. A lot of health. So yeah, it's a fair premium heavy tank. Now, would I get this tank for, let's say, 5,700 gold? It's borderline alright. It is still a fair deal if it's under 6,000 gold and if you like German heavy tanks. But if it's above 6,000 gold, around 6,500, it's the same price as a tier 7 tank destroyer. So you could get a better time out of the SU-12244 or the Krupp Steyr Waffenträger or the Scorpion when that comes out. So yeah, I would recommend a tier 7 tank destroyer if this tank is the same price, but it's a fair deal if it's below 6,000 gold. So it's alright. It has a lot of health. A lot of health. That's crazy. But thank you guys for watching this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I apologize for the T57 or the T58, but all good fun, right? It's basically the same tank, so whatever. So April Fools, sorry about that. But thank you guys for watching. As always, hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave a comment below on what you think about the VK4502B at tier 7. And subscribe to my channel for more World of Tanks stuff and a bunch of other games as well. So follow me on Twitter, Facebook, whatever. But as always, thank you guys for watching. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.